लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले भाजमानं नमामीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले भाजमानं नमामीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले भाजमानं नमामीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले भाजमानं यशोदाधियो लोकलाघवमानं यशोदाधियो लोकलाघवमानं यशोदाधियो लोकलाघवमानं यशोदाधियो आनन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले भाजमानं यशोदाधियो लोकलाघवमानं परामृष्टमन्यं ततो सुगन्धं मोहोर्नेत्रं योगमृजन्तं सुगन्धं मोहोर्नेत्रं सुगन्धं मोहोर्नेत्रं योगमृजन्तं सुगन्धं मोहोर्नेत्रं आनन्दकुण्डे Swami लसत्कुण्डलं वपुलेधार यशोदान्धियो राधारमाणम् यशोदान्धियो राधारमाणम् परामृष्टमन्यम् Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajakaacharya Varya Ashtottottara Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Abhaya Charanaravindra Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajakaacharya Varya Ashtottar Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Grantharaj Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Ki The Nectar of Devotion Evening Seminar Ki Yuga Dharma Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol Hari Hari Bol Hari Hari Bol Please make
Hare Krishna. So before Radha Krishna Prabhu begins today's discourse, I have an auspicious announcement to make. Today is the birthday of little Ananya. There she is, so her mother. She's the daughter of Dr. Didi at Nepal. So we pray that Shri Shri Radha Madhav, Shri Jagannath Srila Prabhupada and all the Divas Acharya may bless Ananya and her family members to be wonderful devotees. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Svapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya. Vamcha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. At the very onset of present today's discourse, I would like to initially offer my most respectfully and submissively prostrated obeisances unto the lotus feet of their divine lordships, Shri Shri Radha and Neel Madhav Dev, along with their eternal divine companions such as Shri Lalita Devi, Shri Vishakha Devi, and Shri Ruparati Manjari, etc. And along with them, I would also like to offer my most respectfully prostrated homages unto the lotus feet of their lordships, Shri Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Shri Shri Nityananda Prabhu, along with their transcendental perpetual entourage and associates such as Shri Larupa Goswami, Shri Sanatana Goswami, and all the 6 Goswamis of Shri Dham Vrindavan. Finally, I would also like to offer and submit my due respects unto the lotus feet of His Divine Grace, Abhaya Charanara Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who has very artistically propagated the doctrine of Krishna consciousness imbued with pure devotional transcendental sentiments throughout this world in this present modern era in a most unique and fantastic, unprecedented way. Conclusively, I would also like to pay my obeisances and due honorary respects unto all the senior Vaishnava devotees of the Lord present herein, and thereafter I would now like to commence the proposed topic of our discussion, especially the context pertaining to collection of devotion, alias Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, compiled by Shri Larupa Goswami Prabhupada. As we were discussing, on the very first day of our Nectar of Devotion seminar session, that was day before yesterday, that the contribution that Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has made is the most unique and unprecedented contribution ever made by all the other ever made by all the other incarnations of the Lord, by all the previous acharyas of Bhakti Marg, propounding the path of devotional service, or by the sages and scholars, the rishis and maharshis of the yore, of the antiquity. None of these have made such an our excellent and unprecedented contribution to the mankind that what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers have made. And as we were discussing, that most important contribution that Srimad Mahaprabhu has made, and which Sri Rupa Goswami has established on the sound and firm basis of the scriptural evidence, is actually technically known as Unnat Ujjwal Ras, or the highest transcendental love, paramour love, conjugal love, that the cowherd maidens of Vrindavan, that the cowherd damsels of Brajbhumi Vrindavan Dham are fostering within their hearts towards Shri Shri Radha and Krishna, the conjugal divine moiety of Vrindavan. So, as Srila Swarup Damodar Goswami has already described in his diary known as Swarupir Kancha, which has also been quoted in Sri Chaitanya Charitamritam, and as Sri Rupa Goswami has described in the very beginning of his Virat Madhava Natakam, Anarpita Charim Chirat Karamaya Kalau Samarpayitu Munnata Rasam Svabhakti Shriyam Hari Purata Sundara Dyuti Kadamba Sandipitah Sada Hridaya Kandara Spuratu Mahashachi Nandana. Sri Rupa gives benediction to all the devotees of the Lord that made that Sri Gaurasundara Mahaprabhu, who is having the complexion of a molten gold, the same complexion that Srimati Vrishabhanandini Srimati Radhika has, that molten gold complexion that Sri Gaurasundara Mahaprabhu is having, and that internal sentiments of Srimati Radhika known as Madanakya Mahabhav, which Srimad Mahaprabhu Chaitanya Deva has undertaken in his mind, internally in his heart, and thus who has appeared on this mortal platform, that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu may always remain illuminated within the core of the hearts of all the devotees of Srimad Mahaprabhu. And then Sri Rupa Goswami describes the real purpose, the factual ambition, in order to fulfill which Srimad Mahaprabhu had actually appeared. And that was by his own causeless munificence and mercy, Srimad Mahaprabhu had advented after a prolonged lapse of time, and as we described in our last session, that lapse of time meant 1000 Kalyugas, 1000 Dwapar Yugas, 1000 Treta Yugas, and 1000, approximately 1000 Satya Yugas. The exact number is 996. So after these many ages, after these many millenniums, 996 times 4, after these many millenniums, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has incarnated immediately after the Dwapar, wherein Sri Krishna, the Swayam Bhagavan, has incarnated. Because as we described in our last session, that according to Chaitanya Charitamritam and according to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, both Swayam Bhagavan, Shri Krishna and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu do incarnate, do make their advent, do appear on this mortal platform only once in a day of Brahma known as a Kalp. So in this Shweta Varaha Kalp, in the 7th Manvantar of this Shweta Varaha Kalp known as Vaivasvat Manvantar, in the 28th cycle or Chaturyugi, in the first part of the Kalyug, in the first Sandhya, there are 12 Sandhyas throughout the whole Kalyug, and each Sandhya consists of 12,000 fixed years. So, in the first Sandhya of Kalyuga, coming within the 28th cycle of the 7th Manvanta of the Shweta Varaha Kalp, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared. So in the previous Kalpa, known as Padma Kalpa, in previous Kalpa, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had appeared. In the 7th Manvantar, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had previously appeared in the first Sandhya of the Kalyug of the 28th cycle of the 7th Manvantar of the Padma Kalpa. So exactly one Kalpa has passed by. So one Kalpa means trillions and trillions of years, which are practically not possible to be counted. So after such a prolonged lapse of time, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared, as well Shri Krishna, the Swayam Bhagavan of Vrindavan, has also appeared. So the contribution that Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had made in previous kalpa, because of the prolonged time lapse, because of the prolonged period of gap, that contribution to the mankind had almost become extinct, had almost become forgotten, could not be recalled to the memory. It was almost forgotten, not only by the mankind, not only by the human beings, but also by the devatas, the great demigods, and the exalted deities and supernatural powers like Brahma, Shiva, Indra, etc. What to speak of the ordinary human beings? It was also forgotten by the great devatas. Even they didn't remember what contribution Srimad Mahaprabhu had given in the previous age. Because of the prolonged time lapse, the memory had become distorted. That is why Adarpita Charim Chirad, जिस वस्तु का दान अनेक समय से नहीं दिया गया है, चिरकाल पर्यंत से जिस वस्तु का दान नहीं किया गया है, उस वस्तु का दान देने के लिए, उस अनर्पित वस्तु का दान देने के लिए चिरकाल के पश्चात अर्थात पुनः एक कल्प के पश्चात वही श्री गौर सुंदर महाप्रभु इस अवनी तल पर, इस धराधाम पर, इस मेदिनी वसुंधरा पर प्रादुर्भूत हुए हैं। अनर्पित चरिम चिराद कर्मयावतीर्ण कलौ, और किस तरह से अवतीर्ण हुए हैं? स्वकीय निजी करुणा के द्वारा, करुणा के द्वारा अपनी जो निजी महावदान्यता है कि जिसके विषय में श्री रूप गोस्वामी पाद ने उद्गार प्रकट किया। राम के ग्राम में जब सर्वप्रथम बार श्रीमन महाप्रभु का सम्मिलन होता है श्री रूप और सनातन गोस्वामी पादों के साथ, जब वे नवाब हुसैन शाह शरीफ मक्का की चाकरी कर रहे होते हैं, क्रमशः दबीर खास और साकर मल्लिक इन दो उपाधियों को धारण करते हुए, उस समय श्री रूप गोस्वामी पाद ने महाप्रभु के समक्ष सर्वप्रथम सम्मिलन के अवसर पर यह उद्गार, यह उद्घोष अभिव्यक्त किया। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्वशय नमः। Oh, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you are the most magnanimous incarnation of Shri Krishna. You are the most munificent, you are the most benevolent, you are the most merciful and compassionate incarnation of Shri Gaurasundar. Namo Mahavadanyaya. Why? Why you are the most magnanimous incarnation? Why? What's the reason? What's the cause? Very scientific, subtle and confidential cause, based on the scriptural evidence, especially the topmost scripture, the crest jewel of all Vedic literatures, that is Sarva Pramana Shiromani, Sarva Pramana Chakravarti Srimad Bhagavatam. According to this Srimad Bhagavatam, which has been called by Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur as Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanamalam Prema Pumarthar Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhar Matamidam Tatradaro Namarah Aradhyo Bhagavan Brajeshatarayah Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramyata Chidupasana Vrajavadhu Vargenaya Kalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanamalam. Yes, when Shri Nath Chakravarti Pad has summarized in a gist form, in a synopsis form, the elaborate teachings and precepts given by Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just in one verse. At that time, Srinath Chakravarti Pad says that according to Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's opinion, according to his teachings, according to his doctrine and gospel, Srimad Bhagavatam is the par excellent evidence available in this world for deciding, for ascertaining and for making a judgment on all types of spiritual and transcendental notions and conceptions. Yes? Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanamalam, this evidence is without, it is completely devoid of all types of contaminations, abrieties, flaws, faults and mistakes. Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanamalam, the other Pramanas. So you see the Shastriya Siddhanta, the scriptural conclusion emanates from Praman. Without Praman, you cannot derive any type of spiritual or transcendental conclusion. Why? Because in Sri Mahabharata, Bhishmadev has told Pandavas when he was lying down on that bed made of arrows. At that time, while waiting for Makar Sankranti to arrive, while waiting for Uttarayan to start, while waiting for sun to enter into the Makar Rashi, at that time, Bhishma Dev has spoken one verse to the Pandavas while giving his divine sermons. And what is that verse? Achintyaha khalye bhavaha natam starkena yojayat prakritibyah param yattu tadachintyasya lakshanam. Achintyaha khalye bhavaha. Those transcendental existing items, objects and entities and personages. Bhavaha means anything existing, whether that be an entity, object, thing, item or personage. All the transcendental objects which are existing and which are supramundane, which are non-phenomenal, which are beyond the three modes of this material nature are to be considered inconceivable, imperceptible and incomprehensible by the mundane mind and by the mundane faculty of intellect. That is why the Veda has again stated, Yato evacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha, that the mundane mind and intellects, when they unsuccessfully try, when they forcibly try, when they illegitimately and illegally try to enter into the aspect of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to probe deep into the profound nature and knowledge in regards to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then what happens? Because they are not having the eligibility. And what is that eligibility? Premanjana churita bhakti velochanena santaha sadaiva hridayeshu velokayanti yam shama sundaram achintya gunaswarupam godandamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. As Brahma has reinstated in Brahma Samhita, that eligibility is that the eyes of heart have to be anointed with the salve and collyrium of the transcendental unalloyed love for the lotus feet of that Bhagavan, Prema Bhakti, Anjan. So, without this eligibility, if the materialists, whether they be Nishkam Karma Yogis or Sakam Karmis, whether they be non-fruitive minded actors or fruitive minded actors, whether they be Jnana Margis, aspiring after merging into impersonal Brahman, or whether they be Ashtanga Yoga Margis or the so-called mystic yogis, if they are not devotees following the path of pure devotion, Shuddha Bhakti, as laid down by scriptures such as Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, then they are not eligible to enter and to probe deep into the profound aspects concerning the personality of Godhead. That is why Achintyaha khalu bhavaha natam starkena yojayet, by mundane, mere speculative concoction and rational argument emanating from mundane mind and intellect, that personality of Godhead can never be known. That is why yato vacho nivartanti aprapya manasa. The mind and intellect, they return back without attaining, failing to attain, and unsuccessful in their mission. They return back without, what to speak of, entering into the profound aspects of the Lord, but even without touching the mere glimpse of Supreme Personality of Godhead, they return back to where they were originally, and they become placed there. Yato vacho nivartanti aprapti manasasa. That is why achintyaha khalye bhavaha nadam strakena yojayet prakritibyah param yattu tad achintyasya lakshanam. All the inconceivable items, all the imperceptible, incomprehensible, transcendental objects which are beyond the three modes of material nature, which are beyond Prakriti, are known as achintya. Tad achintyasya lakshanam. This is the symptom of achintya padarth. This is the symptom of inconceivable item. Tad achintyasya lakshanam. So, the point we are going to make here is that all the transcendental conclusions which are beyond the mundane perception of senses, whether they be in subtle body or gross body, are to be derived. Those scriptural conclusions of such nature, of such imperceptible nature, are to be certainly and assuredly derived only from a single source known as scriptural evidence, known as Shastra Praman. And what are these Shastras? Vede Ramayane Chaiva Bharate Panchakre Tatha Adav Madhye Cha Antye Cha Hrihi Sarvatra Giyate. The four Vedas, namely Rigveda Samhita, Yajurveda Samhita, Atharvaveda Samhita and Samaveda Samhita, 108 Upanishads, beginning from Ishavasya Upanishad down to the Muktika Upanishad. Then the Mahabharata, the Valmiki Ramayana, the 18 Puranas, including Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and the Brahma Sutra Vedanta Darshan, and the other Samhitas, Agam Nigams, and Smritis, which are in compliance with these original Mool Shastra main scriptures, are to be known as evidence for getting transcendental knowledge. This is what our acharyas have ascertained. So, among all the different types of scriptures, among all the different forms of evidence, praman available, among all the different types of Vedic literatures available to our recognition and to our knowledge, Srimad Bhagavatam has been considered the par excellent authority without any contamination, whereas the other Shastras are having little tinge of contamination in some amount. That is why Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam. In order to ascertain the factual nature of the inconceivable entity, that is Shri Krishna Chandra, only Srimad Bhagavatam is the spotless evidence. Pramanam Amalam, without any contamination, without any impurity, or without any flaw. So, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto and also 5th canto, when Rajasuya Yajna of Maharaj Yudhishthira is taking place. At that time, Narad Mahamuni meets with King Yudhishthira. And Narad Muni tells Yudhishthira, O Emperor, O Samrat, you are certainly most fortunate. Why? Why you are the most fortunate? Because you are endowed with that prema bhakti, that Krishna prem, that unalloyed transcendental love for the lotus feet of the Lord, which is completely unmotivated, which is completely uninterrupted, which is incident in totality, and which is attained very rarely, which is not attained so normally in a normal circumstance, which is attained so rarely that Shri Krishna Chandra, he likes to give to his worshippers, he likes to give bhakti and mukti, and he wants to get rid from the clutches of his worshippers, if he can, by making them deluded by the so-called illusory benedictions of bhog, that's sensual mundane gratification, and mukti, or the 5 types of salvations, emancipations, or liberations. The Panchvida Mukti, as described by Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, by Kapil Dev unto his mother Devahuti, Saratya Sarshti Samitya Sarupyaikatvam Apyuta Diyamanam na Grihnanti Vinamat Sevanam Janaha Diyamanam na Grihnanti Vinamat Sevanam Janaha Lakshanam Bhakti Yogasya Nirgunasya Hyudahritam. Kapil Dev told Mother Devahuti that now I will describe the symptoms, the attributes and the characteristics of that pure form, that most purest form, that most pure of the purest form of devotional service, which is without any type of contamination. And the most significant characteristic or quality of that pure devotional service, that Shuddha Bhakti, is that Shuddha Bhakti is completely devoid of all types of desires, all types of volitions, all types of ambitions and wishes to either enjoy mundane sense gratification or to attain 5 types of emancipations from this mundane world, from the clutches of nescience and illusion. And what are those 5 types of so-called liberations? Salokya is the first. Salokya means to enter into the planet of the Lord, Vaikuntha planet, where the Lord resides, and to inhabit and stay in the same planet as the Lord does. That is known as Salokya Mukti, or the emancipation of Salokya. Then comes Sayujya Mukti, or merging into the impersonal aspect of the absolute truth, that is Nirvishesh Nirakara Brahma. So the Brahma Sayujya Mukti, also sometimes known as Taratmya Mukti, also sometimes known as Kaivalya, that merging into the impersonal aspect of the Lord, is the second type of liberation available as an option for the liberationists, for the Muktivadis, for the Mumukshus who are desiring after liberation. Yes. The third type of liberation available is Sarshti. Sarshti means upon entering into the planet of the Lord, that is the Vaikuntha planet, having an opportunity to enjoy and to experience the same kind of pleasures and opulences that the Lord savors or enjoys. That the Lord savors or enjoys within his transcendental realm or abode known as Vaikuntha, which is devoid of all kunthas or miseries or pangs of distresses which are rather found in this mundane world. Kuntha rahita iti Vaikuntha. Kuntha rahito iti Vaikuntha. That planet which is completely devoid of the four conditions, of four inevitable conditions, apariharya avastha, anivarya avastha, anivarya dasha. What are those four inevitable conditions of the material world? Krishna discloses them and counts them in the 12th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita by saying, Janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanu darshanam. These are the four. Birth, death, old age and disease. And there are other three also, Adi Daivik Tap, Adhyatmik Tap and Adi Bhautik Tap. And then there are four types of results of fruitive activities known as Prarabdha, Aprarabdha, Kut and Bij. And then there are five types of Klesh. Klesh means there are five types of other troubles found in the material life known as Avidya, Asmita, Rag, Dvesh and Abhinivesh. And then after all, the perpetual evolvement into the 8,400,000 species of conditioned life. These are all troubles found in the material world, and in order to get rid of these troubles, in order to completely get rid of these troubles, the liberationist or the mukshu aspires after one of the five types of liberation. Why does he aspire? The goal is Atyantiki Dukh Nivritti. As Jiva Goswami explains in his Tattva Sandarbha, the goal is Atyantiki Dukh Nivritti. Atyantiki Dukh Nivritti means ultimate destruction of and ultimate retirement from all types of mundane miseries. That is what stimulates, that is what instigates the desire of becoming liberated. The desire of becoming liberated is instigated by the experience of the pangs of miseries found within this material world. So, even liberation is not devoid of personal desire. It is rather endowed with personal desire. Liberation is for personal sake. If a living entity gets liberated from this material world, if a living entity stops experiencing Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, how is that going to benefit the personality of Godhead, Shri Govind or Madhav? He is already finding pleasure in his paramount transcendental position as Saman Bonam, as Ashraya Tattva, as the fountainhead of all the three potencies, marginal, external, internal, as the fountainhead and source and reservoir of all the other incarnations like Narayan, Vatsya, Narsingh, Kurma and Varaha, and as the original cause of all causes of this world. It doesn't affect him. It doesn't make any impact on the personality of Godhead if certain living entities become liberated. That is why liberation is for personal sake only. It is for negating and getting rid of all the material miseries found in this world. That is why the only impact liberation has, the only influence liberation has is on the living entity who gets liberated. It doesn't have any impact. It doesn't make Shri Krishna benefited in any way. It doesn't make him benefited in any way. That is why liberation is considered existing only for living entities' own personal sake. That is why liberation is not considered niswarth. Liberation is not considered devoid of all personal desire. Rather, liberation cannot exist without personal desire for personal sake. That is why the five types of relations have to be decided on the path of pure devotion. So, we are describing the third type of mukti, the third type of liberation known as sarshti mukti. We have already described sayujya or oneness with the absolute truth and Salokya, or inhabiting in the same planet as the Lord does. Now we will describe the third, Sarshti, which means and which is defined as that liberation in which the living entity enjoys and experiences almost same kind of pleasures and opulences that the Lord of Vaikuntha enjoys. That is known as Sarshti Mukti. Then the fourth type of liberation is known as Samipya Mukti. What is Samipya Mukti? Samipya Mukti is after entering into the planet known as Vaikuntha. After entering into the transcendental planet known as Vaikuntha, when devotee acquires and attains very close proximity and vicinity to the personality of Godhead, that is known as Samipya Mukti. It is not necessary, it is not by default that if a living entity will attain Salokya Mukti, he will be placed near, he will be positioned near to the personality of Godhead. No, this is not a rule. This is not a rule by default. That is why Salokya Mukti is considered different from the Samipya Mukti. Samipya Mukti, or the liberation of being very near to the Lord, very close to the Lord's transcendental form, is considered different from the liberation of inhabiting in the planet that the Lord does. That is Salokya. If one attains Vaikuntha planet, it is not necessary that he will be placed near to the Lord's transcendental form, Satchidananda Vigraha. No. That is why Samipya Mukti has been made distinct. It has been segregated from Salokya Mukti. And the fifth type of liberation is known as Sarupya Mukti, or attaining almost the same four-handed form as Lord Narayana of Mahavaikuntha has. That is Sarupya, having the same type of complexion, having the same type of icon and figure as the Lord and Master of Mahavaikuntha, Parabhyomadhipati Sri Narayana has. These are the 5 types of liberations. And among these 5 types of liberations available at hand, the Sayujya Mukti is considered impersonal liberation, and the other 4 liberations are considered personal type of liberations. Because in the other 4, excluding the Sayujya, excluding becoming one with the impersonal Brahman, the other 4 liberations are personal liberations because they are acquired after entering into Vaikuntha and after beholding the all-enchanting, all-attractive form of Lord Narayana. That is why the other 4 liberations are personal liberations, Savishesh Mukti, and the Sayujya Mukti, Brahma Sayujya Mukti, is considered Nirvishesh Mukti, impersonal liberation. So, whether they be personal or impersonal, whether the liberation is of personal type or impersonal type, it is discarded on the path of pure devotion. The desire, the wish, the ambition to attain those 5 liberations or any one of those 5 liberations in any amount, in any degree, is completely discarded if we want to progress on the path of pure devotion. What to speak of discarding the desire of enjoying this material world? Bhog Ichha, Bhukti. Bhog Ichha, Bhog Pipasa. And the sensual gratification in this mundane world is also of 2 types. If the liberation is of 5 types, the sense gratification is of 2 types. As Rupa Goswami puts it in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the first type of sense gratification or bhog is known as Parthiv Bhog, Parthiv Bhukti. And the second type of sense gratification is known as Swargiya or Parlaukik Bhukti. Laukik Bhukti and Parlaukik Bhukti. Parthiv Bhukti and Swargiya Bhukti, they are the same things. What do we mean by Parthiv Bhukti? That sense gratification which is available on this earth planet, on this Prithvi Lok, is known as Parthiv or Laukik Bhukti. And that sense gratification which is available in higher planets like heaven, paradise and Netherlands, Patal Lok, those sense gratifications which are available in other planets except for the earth planet are known as Parthiv Bhog. Swargiya Sukha or the sense gratificatory items available in celestial paradise or heaven, and they are also known as sometimes as Paralaukik Sukha, Laukik Bhukti and Paralaukik Bhukti, Parthiv Bhukti and Swargiya Bhukti, two types of sense gratifications. So all these different types of mundane sense gratifications, the desire for those sense gratifications in the strictest term used by Rupa Goswami is compared to a witch which is completely intoxicated and which is very gruesome, holding, having grotesque figures, which is very gruesome to look at and which is very fearful in appearance. That witch, that intoxicated witch, which is dancing completely naked by letting her hair braids loose, that dancing intoxicated witch, fearful witch, is compared to the two desires of sense gratification and liberation by Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And as long as the witch in the form of sense gratification, as long as the witch in the form of aspiring after sense gratification and liberation remains and continues to dance within the arena of heart, until that time there is no question, there is at all no possibility, even in dream, that the slightest, faintest replica of the transcendental pleasure will be experienced by the living entity traversing the path of devotion. Mukti mukti spriha yavat pishachi hridi vartate tavat bhakti sukha syatre katham abhyudaya bhave. Mukti mukti spriha yavat. As long as the desire of bhakti and mukti, which is compared to a witch, pishachi priti vartate, as long as the witch in the forms of these two aspirations continues to dance within the arena of heart, pishachi priti vartate, tavat bhakti sukhasyatra katham apyudayo bhave, until that time there is no possibility that the transcendental pleasure known as Prema Seva Janit Anand, known as Swarup Shakti Anand, sometimes also known as Aishwar Sukh or Premanand, that Premanand or that transcendental pleasure arising from serving the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead will ever be relished, will ever be experienced, will ever be felt and enjoyed by the devotee. No question arises of that experience as long as these two desires, these two anarthas, these two unwanted items, these two obstructions of the path of devotion continue to exist within the heart. That is why it has been described in Srimad Bhagavatam that Shri Krishna very easily gives to his worshippers, even to his steadfast worshippers, even to the steadfast and exclusive worshippers of Shri Krishna, who do not choose to worship any other form of Shri Krishna like Ram, Narayan, Narsingh, etc. And what to speak of worshipping other demigods, but who are so exclusively dedicated in their Ananya Bhakti, in their Ekantiki Bhakti, in their one-pointed devotion, that they do not even choose to worship and establish relationship with other forms of the personality of Godhead. What to speak of demigods then? Those exclusive steadfast worshippers of Shri Krishna, even they are examined, even they are tested by Shri Krishna at the time when Shri Krishna prepares to give them the fruits and the results of their upasana, of their worship, of their devotion. At that time Shri Krishna examines and tests even his most steadfast and exclusive worshippers, even his Aranya and Ahituki bhaktas, Ekantiki bhaktas. He doesn't let anyone go without examination taking place. And that strict examination is if the living entity, if the devotee worshipping the Lord, even in an exclusive and steadfast way, becomes deluded by the benediction bestowed by the Lord as a result of his devotion in the form of sense gratification, then the Lord doesn't give that prema bhakti, that most rarely obtained jewel of prema bhakti, that most rarely obtained and seen touchstone jewel, touchstone gem, chintamani of prema bhakti to that worshipper gone. And the Lord feels satisfied upon having satisfied his so-called devotee, who became satisfied just by taking the benediction, just by accepting the benediction of mundane sense gratification given by the Lord. And then the connection of the Lord becomes severed with that devotee. The Lord is no more obligated to that devotee, because if someone worships you and you don't provide your worshipper with any fruit or result, then you are considered obligated to that person who is serving you. So Lord now is no more bound within the jurisdiction of obligation. The Lord is now no more bound within the jurisdiction of obligation for that devotee who became satisfied simply by getting the benediction of sense gratification through the Lord. He's over. The case is over. And if the devotee becomes satisfied, the whole chapter is sealed for him now. If the devotee suppose becomes he crosses the first examination. You see, there are two examinations that the devotee has to cross. The first examination is the examination of not becoming enchanted, of not becoming deluded, of not becoming charmed and enchanted and illusioned by either the heavenly sense gratificatory items or the earthly sense gratificatory items bestowed by the Lord. And the second part of the examination is that the devotee should not become charmed and attracted by the 5 types of liberations and the 8 types of mystic perfections, Ashtasiddhis, bestowed by the Lord at a crucial time of examination. At a very crucial point of examination, Lord, if suppose devotee passes the first stage of examination, he doesn't become attracted either by celestial sense gratification or by the mortal sense gratification, by the Parthiv or Swargya Subodh. Then the Lord again tests him by giving him the 8 types of mystic perfections or by showing him the 5 types of liberations. Ashtasiddhis like Anima, Laghima, Garima, Kama, Vasaita, etc. that the yogis have, that the Ashtanga yogis and Hatha yogis have. When if the devotee doesn't become charmed by those Ashtasiddhis and Navnidhis, Ashtasiddhis and Navnidhis, the 9 types of opulence, and if the devotee doesn't even become attracted by the 5 types of liberations being offered by the Lord on his own accord, Lord on his own disposal, on his own accord is offering these 5 liberations even without the devotees asking for them. And still if the devotee doesn't become attracted, then he is considered eligible to be given prema bhakti. Then the Lord has no other option. He is completely bound to give him prema bhakti. He is forced, the personality of Godhead is forced. He is compelled to give prema bhakti, to give and to bestow the unalloyed transcendental love for his own lotus feet unto that devotee, unto that worshipper of his. Yes, because he will remain obligated until his worshipper will be satisfied. So if a worshipper doesn't become satisfied by sense gratification, by mystic perfections of 8-fold mystic perfection, or by 5 types of liberations, then the Lord is compelled to give prema bhakti unto that devotee. Now, Lord is put into such a perplexity, into such a confusion, that if the Lord chooses not to bestow prema bhakti unto his worshipper of such an exclusive and adamant nature, adamant, hati swabhav. He is so hati, his bhakti is so hati, is so adamant that he doesn't become satisfied, he doesn't want to accept opulences, material gratification, liberation, mystic perfection or anything. So, confronting the adamance of his devotee, if the Lord doesn't want to give that devotee his prema bhakti, then also the Lord remains obligated to that devotee in one sense. And that taints the personality of Godhead. If you remain obligated to someone, then you are considered tainted. Because according to Niti Shastra, the biggest misery in this world is not poverty. The biggest misery in this world is to remain obligated to someone, is to remain debt to someone, is to remain in debt in relation to someone. That's the biggest misery according to the Niti Shastra. according to the scripture of ethics and morality in this world, if you remain obligated to someone, if you are in rid means obligation or debt of someone, that is the biggest type of misery found in this material world. So the Lord, even if He doesn't bestow His prema bhakti, He remains in debt and in obligation to His such an exclusive devotee, to His such an unmotivated devotee. And suppose if the Lord gives prema bhakti to His devotee, He still remains subordinate to His devotee. How? Because once the prema bhakti is given to His devotee becomes the master and the Lord subservient. Yes. That is the reason why the Lord doesn't want to give prema bhakti, and that is the reason why He avoids bestowing prema bhakti. By giving 5 types of liberations, by giving panchavidha mukti, Lord doesn't become subordinate to anyone. By giving either heavenly sense gratification or earthly sense gratification, Lord doesn't become subordinate to anyone. He retains His swara tattva. He retains His autocratic, autonomous position of being completely independent and swara and self-illuminated and self-dependent. He completely retains His independent position in totality. And by giving 8 types of mystic perfections, Ashtayam Siddhis, the Lord doesn't become subordinate to anyone. But the Lord becomes subordinate only at one instance. When the Lord bestows prema bhakti unto His devotee, and once the devotee's heart starts containing the nectar of prema bhakti within itself, then the Lord becomes completely subordinate in such a degree that the Lord loses total independence. That is why Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Narayan, has declared in the incidents of Amrish and Durvasa in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, when Durvasa went and approached Lord Narayan of Vaikuntha, Pahimam, Pahimam, O Lord, please deliver me, please rescue me from this incumbent danger, which will become very influential on me if you will not save me. Then the Lord has replied to Durvasa that Aham Bhakta Paradhino Yasvatantra Ivatvija Sadhu Vidrasta Hridaya Bhaktair Bhakta Janapriya. Aham Bhakta Paradhino. Durvasa, you are in the wrong place. Why? Because you are asking to a servant. How can a servant forgive you? How can a servant forgive you? You have to go and approach the master. You cannot be forgiven by a mere bodyguard of a king or emperor. If you have offended an emperor or a king, you cannot be forgiven of that offense just by apologizing to his bodyguard or to his sentry or to another such employee employed by the king or by the emperor. You have to go directly in front of the emperor and forgive from him. And why? The Durvasa asks, oh, devotees are your servants and you are the master. Why are you speaking in a contradictory way? I have never heard that you are the servant and the devotees are the master. Rather, the devotees are your servant and servitors. Then why are you considering yourself to be servant and Amrish, who is your servant, to be your master? Why vice versa? Why vice versa? Explain it to me. Then Narayana has said, Aham Bhakta Paradhino. Yes, the devotees will always retain the feeling of being my servitors. But what happens? That if they do not become deluded by sense gratification or liberation, I am compelled to give them prema bhakti. If I don't give them, I am still indebted and obligated to them, which is a very great misery, which is a very great taint on my personality. And I don't want to have a taint on my personality. So I give them prema bhakti. What happens if I give them prema bhakti? I still become subordinate to them. So there is no one left for me to retain my independence without being tainted. Why? Because Rupa Goswami says in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Eastern Division, 1st chapter, that pure devotional service unto the Lord has 6 symptoms. Kaleshagani Shobala Moksha Labhutagrit Sudurlabha Sandra Ananda Vishesha Shri Krishna Krishna when devotional service of the Lord is in the stage of practice, sadhana bhakti, then that pure devotional service only has two symptoms within it. First is klesha gnatva, and the second is shubhatattva. Klesha gnatva means that the devotional service on the stage of practice, sadhana bhakti, removes all types of anarthas, all types of impediments on the path of devotion that the devotee has to confront. And Shubha Tattva means the sadhana bhakti avoids all types of good and auspicious qualities. Sadhana bhakti inserts, just like if you insert a floppy disk into the drive, sadhana bhakti inserts auspicious qualities, transcendental divine auspicious qualities into the demilord and nature of a devotee. All these qualities like Titikshavah, Karunikah, Suhridah, Sarvadehinam, Ajata Shatravah, Shantaha, Sadhavah, Sadhu Bhushanaha, and Trinadapi Suniche, Tarorapi Sahishnana, being tolerant, being humble, being truthful, being full of mercy and compassion, being austere, being clean, etc. All these transcendental auspicious qualities, sadhana bhakti inserts into the heart of a devotee. That is why sadhana bhakti is considered bestower of auspiciousness, Shubha Tattva. So klesha gni and shubha tattva, these are the two symptoms of sadhana bhakti appearing on the stage of practice. Then when sadhana bhakti becomes transformed into bhava bhakti, which is the second stage of pure devotion. These are the three stages of pure devotion. Sadhana bhakti is the initial stage, bhava bhakti is the intermediate stage, and prema bhakti is the final and ultimate conclusive stage of devotion. So bhava bhakti stage has two extra symptoms. It retains the two older symptoms, the two previous symptoms of klesha gnatva and shubha tattva. But bhava bhakti also has two special extra symptoms known as moksha laghuta kritatva and sudurlabhatva. Moksha laghuta kritatva means when bhava bhakti arises in the heart of a devotee, in the heart of a practitioner of devotional service. When bhava bhakti arises, immediately upon the awakening of bhava in the heart, devotee starts feeling all the four so-called goals of human life, all the so-called four purusharthas, dharma, arth, kama and moksha. That means the so-called prescribed duties of varnashram and the ritualistic activities of karmakanda dharma. Kama means mundane economic development and prosperity. That is artha. And kama means sense gratification, and moksha means liberation. All these four so-called religious duties, karmakanda, as an effect of karmakanda, so-called material prosperity, artha, as effect of that so-called material prosperity, material sense gratification, kama, and finally becoming liberated from the clutches of maya, liberation. All these four purusharthas, all these four so-called goals of human life, or the cheating forms of religion. Bhagavatam says, dharma kaitava pravujjita nirmatsaranam satam. This dharma, kama and moksha is cheating form of religion. The real purpose of religion is to attain prema bhakti, which is considered pancham purusharth, the fifth goal of human life, and the real and the factual goal of humanity. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu have established Krishna prema, love for the lotus feet of the Lord, as the ultimate and the only factual purushartha, or the only factual goal of human life. So it is said, we were quoting moksha laghuta kritatva. So moksha laghuta kritatva is a special symptom of bhava bhakti. That means when bhava bhakti arises within the heart, devotee starts naturally feeling that all these four purusharthas like dharma, kama and even moksha are just like a blade of grass, like a straw of street on the footpath. Devotee doesn't become attracted by either dharma, arth, kama or moksha. Even moksha or liberation, which is the fourth goal of human life, which is the so-called last goal of human life, even that liberation appears to a devotee on the level of Bhava Bhakti to be just like a mere discarded straw of street fallen on the ground, fallen on the footpath. That is moksha kritatva. He doesn't become attracted by any mundane achievement or by any spiritual achievement culminating in liberation. He doesn't become attracted by any Sakam Karmi, by any Nishkam Karmi Yogi, by any Jnani, by any Paramatmavadi, by any Ashtanga Yogi. He doesn't become attracted because he realizes that all these others are only aspiring either after liberation or sense gratification, and he considers both of these, Bhukti and Mukti, to be like a blade of grass. He doesn't theoretically consider them to be blade of grass, but he actually realizes and feels Bhukti and Mukti to be a blade of grass. We can theoretically understand that liberation is very insignificant in comparison to Prema Bhakti, but we will not be able to realize it if we are not on the level of Bhava Bhakti. If we are not on the level of Bhava Bhakti, we will be theoretically able to understand how even moksha is insignificant in comparison to prem, but we will not be able to factually realize and feel it within the heart until we attain the stage of bhava. Even now, by reading Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, we can understand that, and by reading Bhagavatam, we can understand that moksha is considered very insignificant and unimportant in comparison to Prema Bhakti. But we will not be able to realize it. We will not be able to actually feel it within our heart. We will not be able to feel that calm or mundane sense gratification is insignificant. As soon as the flickering forms of beauty come through our vision, pass through our vision, we forget the whole knowledge written in the scriptures, up to such an extent that even big monks and pontiffs and renunciants and tyagis and ascetics, even they forget, if we are not on the level of Bhava Bhakti, even they forget that these flickering forms of beauty are only source of temporal bliss, and they also become enchanted and delve and submerge themselves into the flickering forms of beauty and say, oh, this is the ultimate goal of life. Purascharvita charvananam, chewing the same chewed item over and over. That same old material sense gratification over and over, which has been experienced by us through innumerable lifetimes. So, dharma, artha, kama and moksha, we can theoretically understand them to be insignificant, but on a practical level, that feeling will only arise if we are on the level of Bhava Bhakti, not otherwise else. That is why moksha labuta kritatva. And the second symptom of Bhava Bhakti is sudurlabhatva. Sudurlabhatva means Bhava Bhakti is very rarely attained, and Bhava Bhakti is the beginning stage of praying. Bhava Bhakti is just like a sunrise. Before sun appears in his full-fledged form, before when sun appears fully illuminated, before the sunrise, what happens? The rays of the sun start coming up on the eastern horizon. Before Suryodaya, Arunodaya occurs. Before Suryodaya, Arunodaya occurs. Bolo Shri Shri Radha Madhava Bhagwan ki Jai Ho. Gaur Nitai ki Jai Ho. Sitaram Lakshmana Hanuman ki Jai Ho. So we'll just wind up the session in 2 minutes now. So before the sunrise, what happens? The rays of the sun start emanating. Before that, we actually see the oval shape, the circle shaped globe of sun. Before we see the round sun coming up from the horizon, coming up from the ocean. Still, before that, we see the light of the sun. The rays of the sun get illuminated before the actual sun gets illuminated. So, Bhava Bhakti is like the initial awakening of prema. When Bhava Bhakti gets condensed, it becomes transformed into Prema Bhakti, and Prema is the ultimate goal of love. So, it is said by Rupa Goswami, this comparison has been given. Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma, Prema Suryamshu Samya Bhav, Ruchivishchitta Masranyam Krita Saubhava Uchyate. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami says, Prema Suryamshu Samya Bhav. Prema Bhakti is like a Surya, is like a full-fledged sun. And Bhava Bhakti is just like an Anshu. Anshu means a ray. A ray. It is a fraction of light or a ray. A single ray of light emanating from the sun is known as Bhava Bhakti, whereas the full-fledged sun is known as Prema Bhakti. Prema Suryamshu Samyaha. So, Bhava Bhakti, which is the initial awakening of prem, which is the initial stage of prem, is very rarely obtained. What to speak of Prema Bhakti? The Bhava Bhakti is very rarely obtained. Yes. So rarely obtained that Narad Mahamuni says, Rajan Patir Gururalam Bhavatam Yadunam Daivam Kvacham Kulapatihi Kvachakin Karovaha Astve Vamanga Bhagavan Bhagavan Mukunda Muktim Dadati Karhichit Smana Bhakti Yogam. O King Yudhishthira, you are so fortunate that you have become bound by you have actually made Lord Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, bound by the rope of Prema Bhakti. Because not only you, O Yudhishthira, but all of your 4 younger brothers, all of you, the 5 Pandavas, because you are having prem for Shri Krishna, that is why through the rope of that Prema Bhakti, you have bound Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, to such an extent that he doesn't appear only as your spiritual master Guru, not only as your worshipable deity Ishtadev, not only as your friend Sakha, not only as your fellow member of your dynasty, as your Bandhu or Parivarik Sadasya. He not only appears as your friend, as your cousin, as your relative, as your Guru or spiritual master, as your worshipable deity, but he also appears as your servant, as your charioteer, Sarthi, and as your messenger. Krishna accepted the humble position of becoming a messenger of the Pandavas before the Mahabharata war actually started. There is a very menial position for Krishna. Then he also accepted the position of being a charioteer of Arjuna. That is also a very menial position. And he accepted during the Rajasuya sacrifice, when Narad is speaking this statement, Krishna accepted during the Rajasuya sacrifice the menial position of remaining as a gatekeeper and of remaining as a shoekeeper, and of guarding all the shoes kept and left by all the different participants of that Rajasuya sacrifice, like different kings that included Shishupal and Dantavakra and all the others, and Jarasandha, etc., all the demoniac kings. So, Krishna took the humble position of guarding the shoes of all participants of Rajasuya sacrifice, whether they be demonic type or saintly type. Yes, this is the menial position that the authority of God had accepted just because of love for Maharaj Yudhishthira, just because of his love for the 5 Pandava brothers. Why? Because he has become bound by the Prema Bhakti in the heart, which is existing in the heart of the Pandavas. That is why Narada says, you are very fortunate. Bhagavan Mukund, the giver of liberation, Muktim Dadati iti Mukundaha. One who gives liberation is known as Mukunda. That Bhagavan Mukunda, Astveva Mukta Bhagavan Bhajatam Mukunda, Muktim Dadati Karhichit Smarna Bhakti Yogam. That Mukunda gives sense gratification and liberation very easily, Muktim Dadati, but he only sometimes gives Prema Bhakti, Smarna Bhakti Yoga. Smarna Bhakti Yoga means Prema Bhakti is not given by the Lord so easily. But you are so fortunate that you are having this Prema Bhakti, and due to this Prema Bhakti, the Lord has become bound to not only you, O Yudhishthira, but to all of your 4 brothers also. So that is Prema Bhakti. Lord doesn't want to give Prema Bhakti because he will become bound, he will lose all independence and will become subservient and subordinate to his devotee. So, that Prema Bhakti, which even Lord Krishna doesn't easily bestow on the living beings, that same Prema Bhakti that Shri Krishna only bestows after becoming compelled. When his exclusive devotee passes through all the examinations successfully, then Krishna is compelled to give that Prema Bhakti. Very rarely obtained Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti. That is the reason why it is very rarely obtained. That is why it is Sudurlabha. Why Rupa Goswami called it Sudurlabha. But that same Sudurlabha Bhakti, but that same very rarely obtainable Prema Bhakti, Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Shri Krishna himself, gives. What to speak of? He gives that prema bhakti to his devotees. He gives this prema bhakti to anyone and everyone, without considering eligibility, ineligibility, without considering who is qualified, unqualified, without considering the proper place of donation and the improper place of donation, without considering the proper and improper time of giving donation, without considering patra, apatra, asthan, kal and akal. He gives this donation of prema bhakti to anyone and everyone, including Jagai and Madhai, including Prakashanand Saraswati Pal, including Sar Mohan Bhattacharya, and including the Pathan Vaishnavas, the Muslim Vaishnavas whom he met in Allahabad, including everyone whom Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu either saw during his journey to South India, or to anyone who saw Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing in ecstatic rapture and calling out loudly the names and nomenclatures of Shri Krishna, Govind, Madhav, etc. Anyone who saw Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in such an ecstatic rapture and transcendental body features, he immediately got the benediction of Prema Bhakti. Patra patra vichar nahi, nahi sthana sthan, jai jaha paya taha, lutia prema bhandar. Chaitanya Charitamrita Krishna Ras Kaviraj claims, whoever was found in whichever place, wherever and whenever, he was immediately given prema bhakti. Without that person's even performing sadhana bhakti, he was immediately given prema bhakti by Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If a person reciprocated with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then also, and if he didn't reciprocate, then also. If a person talked with Mahaprabhu, if he touched Mahaprabhu, then also he got prema bhakti without the need of performance of sadhana. And suppose if he looked at Mahaprabhu only once from a distance, only then also he got this divine gift and treasure of prema bhakti immediately on the spot. That is why Shri Chaitanya's incarnation, although Shri Chaitanya is the same as Shri Krishna, but Shri Chaitanya's incarnation is the most munificent, is the most benevolent, and that is why Rupa Goswami Pad claims, Namaha Krishna Prema Pradayate, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. O Shri Chaitanya, you are the same as Shri Krishna, the beloved Lord of Srimati Radharani, but you are more munificent even then that Shri Krishna of Vrindavan Dham. That is why Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come here to give that most unique contribution and gift which not even Shri Krishna, none of his other incarnations, no other Rishi Maharshi, and none of the other Acharyas like Ramanuj, Bhatma Nimbarka, Vishnu Swami have given. And that is why Rupa Goswami is considered the most intimate associate of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he has fulfilled the desire of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has fulfilled the mission of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to establish the science of this unprecedented Prema Bhakti. And we will tomorrow again commence and continue our session from the point that we are leaving right now. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. जगतगुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की, श्रील रूप गोस्वामी की, श्री भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु की, the nectar of devotion evening Sariyar की, समवेत भक्तवृंद की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल. Any questions are welcome privately.